everybody. Today we are going to be talking about Star Wars and more specifically the sequel trilogy. So it has been revealed that George Lucas apparently wanted Darth Maul to be the main villain. Now obviously this is kind of a little bit too late because we already got the new films. Like the films or not, they're already there. However, I do like to entertain the idea of what could have been, because I'm one of those people that are not really a big fan of the new films. I do prefer the prequels and the original trilogy. Not a big fan of the newer films. Let's call the Disney trilogy. So I will be reading an article that is on Digital Spy, and the article is titled George Lucas wanted Star Wars sequel trilogy main villain to be Darth Maul. So before I get into this article, let me just give you a little bit of behind the scenes drama if you are not aware of what was happening between George Lucas and Lucasfilm, Disney more specifically, right? So when George Lucas decided to sell Lucasfilm to Disney, Star Wars to Disney and all of that, he has been having this relationship with Disney for many, many years, right? If you go to Disney parks, you see the Indiana Jones ride, the show as well. You see loads of Star Wars everywhere. So they have been having this relationship for years and years and years. So he says he sold it because he wanted Star Wars to continue and he was just too tired to have to deal with that. And he wanted to focus on other things in life, and to create films, it's just kind of a full-time job. And he's older, he just kind of wanted to enjoy his life, but he did not want Star Wars to die. So okay, makes sense, fine. I really did not like the idea, but okay. However, when he did that, he also sold to Disney the ideas of how the movies should end, meaning how the real Skywalker saga should end. He wrote down kind of summaries of what should happen. But Disney did not follow through in the new films. They basically decided to do their own thing. And it was revealed by Bob Iger on a book, and Bob Iger was the CEO at the time, now is no longer the CEO, if I'm not mistaken. But Bob Iger revealed that George Lucas felt betrayed because he thought that Disney was going to follow his idea for the Skywalker saga, which everyone would think that would probably be the best idea. I mean, if there's one person that would know how the Skywalker should end, that would be the creator, the person that invented it all. But no, they decided to do something different.
You were the chosen one! It was said that you would destroy this and not join them!
He just thought that The Force Awakens was basically a ripoff of The New Hope, and he just, I think he's not more vocal about it because he also is, he has Disney stocks and things like that, and it just will look really bad. But his silence tells a lot. I mean, the fact that he didn't praise the film, I think it tells a lot to all of us, the fans. Now, I'm one of those people that are not happy with these films, the newer ones. The only thing coming from Disney that I really appreciate is The Mandalorian. I really love The Mandalorian. But I really like the new films. I just don't feel that they have the same impact as the older ones. And I actually don't even think, it will be very interesting to see 20 years from now if people are going to be talking about these films the way that we still talk about the original films as well as the prequels. I mean, complain what you want about the prequels, but we still have great memes. And, I believe that the story was indeed very compelling. However, even though it has now the movies are done, I really like to entertain the idea of what could have been, and that's what we're going to read on this article over here. So we knew that he had plans, but we didn't exactly know what their plans were. Now there's a book called The Star Wars Archives 1999-2005. And apparently this book is the one that is revealing the initial plans. So that means perhaps it's not what exactly was going to do, but it was his initial idea for the sequel trilogy. And there are some things here that are very, very interesting. And oh God, how I wish they, I wish that they would have followed at least the main idea of Luke and Leia. I would have liked to see that. So let's get to this article. Star Wars sequel trilogy has been divided among fans, to say the least. but things could have looked very different if creator George Lucas' original plan had come to fruition. Yeah, think. A new book released in the UK this week called The Star Wars Archives 1999-2005 reveals an impressive number of secrets about Star Wars prequel trilogy, episodes 1, 2, and 3, but also delves into of Lucas's initial plans for recent sequel trilogy. That is indeed very interesting, guys. So after Lucas sold Star Wars franchise to Disney in 2012, the corporation went ahead with making sequels in its own way and what they made is a resurrected Darth Sidious, which I think was an abomination in my opinion, because by bringing, even though Palpatine is a great character, bringing him back kind of diminish the Return of the Jedi, and all of that brilliant ending is kind of thrown into the trash. It just, to me, doesn't make any sense. Clearly he died, but then he didn't. It's just not cool. The ultimate villain with a clone Snoke as a front, and then Snoke was, it's just, I'm not even gonna get into it because I'm still sore about it, but anyways. But the Star Wars Archives, published by Taschen, I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name right, reveals that Lucas actually wanted the Phantom Menace villain Darth Maul to make a return and become the primary antagonist with Darth Talon from the Dark Horse comic book Star Wars Legacy by his side. Now, there's a lot of things to do with these books that the first thing that Disney did was to kind of say, these are no longer canon. So I really think that they had the plan to do their own thing. But I just felt like that is so weird that they wouldn't tell George specifically, because it feels like this was decided just verbally. It wasn't really on the contract that Disney had to do whatever, or at least follow the storyline that George gave them. But I think because of the relationship that they have for so many years, he believed that they would do that, and they didn't, so he felt betrayed. Now, what do I think about this whole Darth Maul situation? Now, for a lot of people that did not watch the animation, the Clone Wars, you probably don't know that George Lucas brought Darth Maul back, and I believe that is probably because he was very popular character. He was probably one of the most popular character after Darth Vader, of course, in the prequel era. You know, people talk about them, and a lot of people say he shouldn't have died in the Phantom Menace. He was very interesting to watch, and I agree. I think that we want more, and so he brought him back, but he brought him back in animation form. So a lot of people that did not follow the animation probably not know, and they will probably feel surprised, but I would have rather see Darth Maul back, because he wasn't such a major character like Sidious, you know, because Sidious, Palpatine, the whole arc of Palpatine ended in the Return of the Jedi, and you can try to change my mind, but you won't. There's no way you can change my mind on that. His story arc ended in the Return of the Jedi. However, Disney brought him back, and I just think it really messed up the films. The whole clone story, I don't like that. But let's continue and see what else is he saying here. The book author, Paul Duncan, has shared a few details from it on Twitter, revealing George Lucas's plan. The sequel trilogy included Darth Maul and Darth Talon as the villains. Luke rebuilding the Jedi Order, that is super interesting, from survivors of Order 66, that's great. Leia forming the New Republic, becoming the Chosen One. Now, this is a little bit confusing to me because we heard from George Lucas' mouth on a clip, he even said the Chosen One was Anakin Skywalker. And that whole storyline ended with Palpatine.
I think when you watch the actual movie in order, the story will become very clear that Anakin is the Chosen One. And even when Anakin turns into Darth Vader, he is still the Chosen One. The prophecy is that Anakin will bring balance to the Force and destroy the Sith. He becomes Darth Vader. Darth Vader does become the hero. Darth Vader does destroy the Sith, meaning himself and the Emperor. He does it because he is redeemed by his son. So the prophecy is true. And by doing that, he redeems himself and goes from being Darth Vader back to being Anakin.
So I'm not sure what this author means with Leia being the Chosen One. What I do understand is that all the way back in, if you go back to the original trilogy, the whole idea that Luke wasn't the only hope, there was another, and that was definitely it was Leia. Obviously, there was no idea of Rey or none of that by that time. So of course, the idea that George planted there was that the other hope would have been Leia. So I totally get it. I think it would be very interesting to see Leia as a Jedi, you know, creating the New Republic. But the whole thing with the Chosen One, I just don't understand it. I'm not really sure if he's using George Lucas's word or if he's just George changed his mind. This paragraph here doesn't make much sense to me. But the fact that if we would have seen Leia being a Jedi and Luke rebuilding the Jedi Order in a new way with new values, that would have been amazing, guys. Because I think one of the things that the prequel showed us is that the Jedi were very much flawed. You know, it was their fault that Anakin turned bad, pretty much, because they were not paying attention to someone very close to them. And people that are so powerful, you would just like, how would Yoda not see that coming? How did Obi-Wan Kenobi not see that coming? And they just basically led Anakin to Palpatine, you know. So I find this idea very interesting. I just don't understand this Chosen One here. I think that she would be the other hope, then yes, but not really the Chosen One, right? Let's continue. He added that Lucas had told all of this last year and that these were some of his ideas when prepping the film in 2012 before he sold to Disney. Of course, Maul was cut in half, seemingly killed by Obi-Wan Kenobi at the end of The Phantom Menace, but fans who've watched animated series, like I mentioned before, know that he actually survived. And this is something that is coming from George Lucas. He is the one that brought him back, so this is not from Disney anyways. Then the article continued talking a little bit more about the book, and I will stop right here. I'm not gonna read the whole thing. But anyways, guys, so what I really wanted to talk about here is this short idea that Luke would have built the Jedi Order with the remaining Jedis that survive Order 66, and perhaps with newer apprentices as well, because no people are born with Force sensitive people, so that totally makes sense. And we also would have seen Leia sort of being a Jedi and also being, you know, like ahead of the New Republic. I think that totally makes sense. I think, you know, what we didn't really see is them working as a pair. You know, Luke and Leia were supposed to be so strong in the Force because they are the offspring of Anakin Skywalker, and I felt that we really missed out. You know, we didn't see much of their potential in the new films because the new films were clearly saying these movies are not about them, which is fine as well. It might not be about them, but if you really wanted to end the Skywalker saga, they are the main players. So you should have given them a more pleasing ending, in my opinion. But anyways, that is what is happening right now, guys. Drop your comments down below. Let me know, what do you think of this idea of George Lucas, how he would end the sequel trilogy? I would love to hear your thoughts. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that thumbs up, subscribe for more. See you next time. Bye.